It is yours truly once again. Here's my thing. So, with a lot of the lesser feminine out here, yes, with a lot of the lesser feminine that are out here, and they talk about that they are the prize. So basically, I guess as the guy gets to the end of the finish line or at the end of the season. Ooh, did I just say that? Yes, I just said that. If he makes it that far, he'll get this prize of a trophy, of whatever comes with him getting all the way to the end, him getting all the way through, him chasing. Hmm, keep that in mind. Chasing some type of success or accomplishment. Like, I guess she thinks that she's the prize, that she is like some type of accomplishment. Hey, you ask me, you know, I look at it this way personally. Does a man want the prize of getting to the end of the finish line or the end of the season? Or would he rather take the cheerleader that's been cheering him along the way? Hey, you ask me, forget about that prize. I'm all about that cheerleader. Yes. Forget about that prize. I'm all about that cheerleader, you dig? She been cheering me on the whole way. And that's the way a man should want a woman to be in his life. His cheerleader, not a prize. Notice the difference between his cheerleader versus a prize. His cheerleader versus a prize. That's not his prize. That prize could be anybody's prize. Ooh. Let's go in. Hey, I've said this before, but to a lot of those same lesser feminine that see themselves as the prize, they also see men as options. But see, here's the thing. Men are opportunities, real men, not typical males. Real men are opportunities, not options. And real women are possibilities, not prizes. The typical female doesn't see herself as a possibility. Why? Because things possibly won't work out with you. Whereas with a real woman, there's a great possibility of things working out. See, they try to think of themselves as a prize, regardless of the possibility of things not working out. Keep that in mind, y'all. What this all obviously means is that the average Joe versus the real McCoy, like if you compared it to the average Joe versus the real McCoy, because I just say that the average Joe is the typical male and the real McCoy is the real man. But what this means for the average Joe versus the real McCoy is that the average Joe sees himself as an option and that females may or may not know the price, but they will pay the price. Whereas the real McCoy sees himself as an opportunity and women are just possibilities. And what I mean by this is that what's the possibility of a real woman showing up? Even though there's an abundance of the feminine out here, it's actually becoming more rare for a man to be around a real woman. It's becoming more rare for a real man to be around a real woman. So I say that chances are it's a possibility, you know? Think about what Adam had to go through, you know? Eve messed up that what? Opportunity. And unfortunately, Adam had to experience the possibility of that thing between him and her not working out. Whereas she should have been part of a better possibility based on her, based on the opportunity she had to be with him that she messed up royally. Okay. One can say, well, how come the creator didn't make Eve a better possibility then? Well, we all have free will. He gave that to humanity, but not to talk about the Bible. Just wanted to throw that out there because I'd say this. When it comes to the feminine, one also has the free will. What does she do with that? Most of them decide to think that they're the prize instead of willingly take on the opportunity. They want the man to do all he can to chase them until the end. And maybe she'll be there. Maybe. But maybe somebody else might get there first before her by whatever means, even if they have to cheat to get there before he does. I'd say this, fellas. It's already a game if she's talking to you about how she's the prize. It's already a game if she's talking to you about game, being put on game about stuff, especially when it comes to her. Trying to help y'all out with this, okay? But like I said about the females, they end up paying the price too because since they don't want to deal with real men and the opportunity to deal with one, and they want to deal with an average Joe, they're going to get average. And they're going to keep dealing with what they've been dealing with lately without realizing the real man that they were around. He didn't require you to pay a price. He just required her to appreciate the opportunity of being around him. And she blew it. She blew it. Okay. So what a lot of girls do when they realize they blow the opportunity, you never hear from them. Instead of them talking about it, instead of them willing to do what it takes, instead of them being willing to do what it takes, you don't hear from them. You don't. So that's why real women are possibilities, not prizes, because a real woman will see herself as possible, not impossible, to get along with, to be with. You don't have to chase for her until the end. And nothing's going to be there by the time, you get close with her. I know so many stories about gals that talk about how they put guys through a lot just to get with them. And then by the time that happens, it's pretty much too late. Because I'm like, okay, you're talking about a dude getting with you. And he's like, oh, wow, now I see how you are. I was going to give up on you. Well, I'm like, why are you not with him now? Well, there was nothing there. There was nothing there when it was all said and done at that finish line or at the end of that season as he went through all these seasons with you. There was still nothing there. Nothing. Who want to waste all that time? When a real woman understands that she's a possibility and she wants to be possible, she ain't making a man go through all these seasons. She ain't making a man go through all this race of chasing her to the finish line. Now she gonna be his cheerleader throughout the whole season, throughout the whole race, cheering him on. And as he crosses the finish line, as he finishes out the season, she gonna still be right by his side, whether he's winning or not. That's what real women do, right? And that's what I've seen. This is not just my opinion, okay? But yeah, it just goes back to like, no, I'm not trying to sound skeptical when it comes to like the real woman. Not at all. I'm not being pessimistic. I'm not being cynical. We look at this world and what it takes for a real woman to exist versus a typical female. Just possibilities, right? So possibly in some parts of the world, real women still exist, but there's no price on that. She's priceless. That's why I say a real man don't put a price on her. She's priceless, especially given how much she just outright shows her appreciation for just being around him. She don't expect him to do all this crazy and grandiose stuff and all this fake romantic stuff just to, have something going on. Like she's just happy to be in his presence. He could be going about his day just washing his clothes. Well, she wants to be in that laundromat with him. That part. She wants to actually learn about his dirty drawers so she can wash them herself sometimes. I'm just saying, that's a real woman and her making herself possible versus a typical female being impossible. And she'd rather make herself a prize that is not even guaranteed when it's all said and done. When it's all said and done on his part, and when it's all said and done on her part, whatever that is, I'll let y'all marinate on that. Hey, because see, no effort needs to be made on the real McCoy's part, given that she, as the real woman, would effortlessly show him not only what a real woman is, but how she desires to be that right type of woman for him. In essence, that's what a real woman is, ladies. Just examples. This ain't my opinion. Once again, these type of women still exist in certain parts of the world, even here in the West, despite the whole passport bro movement. Okay? But that's what makes her priceless. That's what makes being a real woman priceless, okay? But for the average Joe, the typical male, given that he sees her as the prize, he'll do anything he can to have her be a part of his life. There are some guys going through it right now, guys getting embezzled out of a lot of money, getting set up for a chick that was not even good for him. But he called himself wanting to be with her, probably not knowing any better, but he had to learn the hard way. And that's unfortunate because she set herself out to tell him that she was the prize and he had to do all this and that. And look what it got him. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Until he realizes that she's not as much of a woman as he thought she was. He'll always continue to go through all this stuff with her. But you know what? That's for another conversation. Maybe we'll talk about that too. All the stuff that he'll have to continue to go through for him to realize that she was never the prize. She should be trying to be part of his enterprise, part of his team, cheering him on throughout the season. Thanks a million.